Yourselves a hand. All right. Thank you for being here today. Yeah, thank you for showing up. It's always my joy, honor, privilege to be here with all of you at Unity of Gainesville. Just fills my heart. And I see your smiling faces look back at me, and my heart is overflowing even more. Thank you, sound team, and thank you, folks who are tuning in on Zoom this morning, too, that we are all choosing to be here to co-create this experience. Even though you may not be here physically, you are with us energetically, and we feel your presence, and we thank you for it. Because we do have the opportunity to create our experience, whether we're aware of it or not. And this morning, I wanted to talk to you about things. Go figure, right, Scott? Okay, that sounds like a great talk, Jeanie. I'm really excited. You really piqued my interest. We're going to talk about things. Okay, cool. All righty then. Well, let me give you a context a little bit before we talk about things. All right. Here's the definition of thing: an object that one need not, cannot, or does not wish to give a specific name to. Kind of sounds like God, right? We call God God, but God has many names, yes? We hear what? This thing called God? This thing called love? Ooh, I think that's a song. Hit it, Don! Anyway, so I just wanted to offer these things to you right now. So just kind of go with this. One thing after another. Just one of those things. The funny thing is, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Do the right thing. Anybody ever heard that before? And when you hear that, what do you think? What is the right thing? Sometimes we really don't know. We think we have an idea, and sometimes we might impose what we believe is the right thing onto what we believe somebody else needs to do. It's the real thing. Remember that one? Back in the 60s and 70s, when that popular drink? It's the real thing. Did you believe him? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, it depends on what? Your experience, yes? Just like our experience of God. Okay? And then my favorite, shake your groove thing. Yeah, shake your groove thing, right? Okay. And then the classic, it's just not my thing. Just not my thing. So when you look out in the world today sometimes and you see all the things that are going on, you might shake your head. You might want to bury your head. You might want to, who knows what you might want to do, and just kind of go, wow, that's not my thing. And I don't believe I will ever understand it. And that's okay. That's okay. But the question, I believe, the opportunity that's presented to us is, what do I do with that thing? Right? What do I do with the things that appear in my life that perhaps challenge me? That give me an opportunity to look at it differently. So here's the thing, okay? When we're clear, when we have clarity about who we are, what we're aligned with, what our truth is, when we have clarity, we access an energy that empowers us, it enriches us, and it allows us to discern. Discernment is, if you read a lot about discernment, it may be one of the unity principles or words in there. I'm not really sure. I didn't go in and check that out. But we practice certain principles, or they're important, so that we can have clarity, so that we may discern. Romans 12:2. Let me make sure I have my correct glasses here to read these. Do not be conformed to the world. Yes, we've heard that before, right? But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We're very familiar with that, most of us are. So that you may discern. And that's the actual word that's in that scripture. What is the will of God? What is good, acceptable, and perfect? Okay? And in that statement, in that scripture, it's like, how do I know what the will of God is? And the question that you often hear me ask is, what kind of God do I believe in? What kind of God do I ascribe to? What kind of God is woven through my BS, my belief system? Yes? Are you clear? If I handed out pieces of paper this morning, would you be able to articulate the God of your understanding, which unity is very much about? Many paths, one God, the God of your understanding, yes? Would you be able to articulate and be crystal clear as to what God is? What's that thing called God that we hear so much about that sometimes we run away from? I know for the longest time in my life, early on, I grew up with very different versions of God. I've shared with you before, my mom was Russian Orthodox. My father was fundamental Baptist, okay? And her version of God was more of a kind, benevolent God, more or less. My dad was a wrathful, vengeful, you're going to burn in hell kind of God. So there was a lot of confusion and chaos that I grew up with trying to discern, or even in a child's mind and heart, begin to have a sense of, what is this? And I came away with still the thing of some guy in the sky with a long beard waiting at the pearly gates. And if I did these things, I might get in, but if I did any of these, the hell with it. That's where I'd go, right? So again, even in unity, as open and allowing and what unity ascribes to, I'll put it that way, to be very accepting, inclusive, unity consciousness. And it's cool that unity is named unity because we talk about unity consciousness, not really referring to unity, but it's about the oneness of all things, if that's what you ascribe to. Excuse me. And it asks us the question, is my God that I am expressing as, one of love? Or is it of fear, like it was for my dad? Because what we're seeing in the world out there right now, my guess is it's not so much a God of love. It's a God of fear, out of which is going to come the actions, choices, the energy that you're feeling that can be very unsettling and very disturbing if you are aligned differently. Again, I'm always about offering you tools to help you navigate life, ideally more easily and with a sense of purpose. I know I've listened to a few of Danny's talks this year, and after I did the talk in first part of January, actually, about anamnesis, about remembering your truth, remembering who you are, and that kind of goes into this. And even with Danny's talks, I believe some of the one that I'm referring to in particular was about the mission of Unity of Gainesville, okay? And about your personal mission. And that ties into why you're here, what you're about, how you live your life, how you show up, okay? How's that feeling to you right now? We're already in April. We're almost a third of the way through the year. Go figure. So how's it going? Have you been being mindful and present? I'm a big advocate of that, to be very present with each moment, each day, how you're moving through it, not just what your thoughts are, but what your actions and choices are that are flowing from that, what emotions may flow from the thoughts that you are having that you'll see something out there and you have a thought like, and then you have an emotion like, oh, that doesn't feel good. What do you do with it? Again. So you can come back to asking yourself, so what's my thing? Right? What do I do with that? What am I about? If I had a homework assignment, I would invite you all would be to get out that piece of paper today and get really clear as to what that is. And maybe you might do a little tweaking with it. Or you might say, Jeanie, I'm good. I'm good. I'm the real thing. I got it going on. I'm shaking my groove thing, and it's all good, right? So no problem here, okay? And if that's where you are, I applaud you. And I would invite you to get up and dance and celebrate and let that energy of being the real thing, being love, just flow. Yeah, I like that, Scott. Just let it flow throughout the world. When you woke up this morning, did you have an intention for your day? Excuse me. I think maybe one head was doing this, maybe two. Some were like, intention? What's that? Right? What's an intention? Not a resolution, like the first of the year. What's your intention? How many of you are familiar with setting an intention? Let me see a show of hands. Okay. If you set an intention, are you clear with it? Or is it kind of vague? Oh, hey, I had a good head shake. Yes, I'm clear about it. Okay. It's more than just setting an intention. It's about tending to your intention. All right? That's very important. That's the part of being mindful. I'm tending to it as I go throughout my day, that I know myself so well. I know what my thing is. I know I'm the real thing, right? Because I'm a divine expression of the Most High. So I believe I'm the real thing. That's pretty cool. And not in an arrogant, oh, look at me kind of way, in a way that's very humbling and saying, it's an honor and privilege to be the real thing, to be love, and to offer that in a way that's authentic, in a way of compassion and understanding. Not just for me, but for all, the collective. That's a huge responsibility, and sometimes we don't want to take it on, and that's okay. But I'm going to nudge you a little bit this morning because, I never do that. Right? I really am. I'm going to say, okay, really encourage you to not live small. These things have I done, and greater things than these can you and shall you and will you do. You've heard me say that before too, but it's one thing to say it and have an intention, yes, of living it and not do it. And there's no criticism there. You heard me say that before. No judgment, no criticism, observing. I'm observing. And I'm like, okay, I can participate or I can be a spectator. And I may not think that what I do, okay, that when the ego gets in there, little old me, what can I do? That's ego talking. When your higher self is saying, yeah, live, breathe, embody the example of the Christ-like consciousness, be that. So when something happens out there and you're thinking, well, I want to go out there and do whatever, well, what can I do? I invite you to get still. Be quiet. Go inside and listen. Because it's like what they say, if you don't think you have an impact in the world, just imagine a mosquito in a room full of people. Okay? You think? Everybody's like, oh, it got me. One little mosquito in a room, power, right? Speaking of power, I just had this weird thing flash in my mind. If you ever feel like, well, what I do doesn't have an impact, I do a lot of hiking now, and I'm out on the trails a lot, and there's this one crossing over near Kennesaw Mountain, and I'm sure you've seen these crossings before. You can go to a pedestrian cross, and you can press a thing, and you wait forever for it to turn to go across. At this crosswalk, trust me when I say, when you push that button, wah, the cars are stopping almost immediately because it's a national park. And the lights are flashing. I'm like, hey, man, I get to walk across the road, check it out, And I'm like, oh. So if you're ever feeling like, you need to remind yourself, Go to some of those I don't know if there's any around here like that, but I kid you, it's right there at Cheatham Hill and Pigeon Hill, which is my favorite trail. I'm like, and I'm seeing all these cars just zooming by, and I'm like, oh wow. And I'm like, and I do, I go, thank you, as I'm walking across, thank you so much, thank you so much. You have an impact, okay? So you don't have to be a mosquito. You can just push the button and know that what? God's got you, right? So you walk tall as that example of the Christ light to shine. And when your ego goes, what do you think you're doing? Who do you think you are? You go, you ain't the real thing. I am. Yeah, that's what you say. So, whatever your intention is, I really invite you to start paying attention to that, okay? We could all say, oh, we're going to grow a garden out here at Unity of Gainesville this spring and summer. We all, tilling the soil, planting seeds, fertilizing. And so we say, great, it's done. A month or two later, how's the garden doing? Anybody's like, I don't know. Anybody tending to it? Oh, well, we did this and we did that, but that's a different case of letting it be. Because when we do that kind of letting it be and we don't tend to it, whatever's going to come up is whatever's going to come up. Okay? So just start noticing those things. Because we do know, as that infamous saying, the road to hell was paved with what? Good intentions. Yes, indeed. My very first talk I offered at Unity in Conyers, 2008. That was my very first Unity talk. And it was intention to fruition. And it was all about that. So that you're tending to every phase, every aspect of not just your life, but I'm inviting you to take it deeper and expand it further to continue paying attention to how your soul is growing or not. Is it a little stagnant, perhaps? And again, what's going to help you with that is being clear about you, what you're about, why you're here, and what is going to nourish you so that you can truly flourish and make a wonderful difference in the world just by showing up. That's a wonderful way to be of service. We can do it like the pop-up choir this morning, or Dawn, or chaplains, the sound team, everybody who's here today who has stepped into that role. To show up and to be a participant and to contribute to the collective experience for everybody today. In every moment, you're contributing in some way to the collective experience out there. Again, you can just toss a pebble into a pond. And what ripples out from that is like each and every one of us in the matrix, in the whole of the interconnectedness of life, in the oneness. And it's easy to forget. I know that it is. Trust me. I do know. But that's, again, bringing you back and saying, okay, let me just be still. Let me go into prayer. Let me just be silent. Let me just be silent and breathe. Let me commune with the God of my understanding, with life itself, without any kind of agenda when I go into stillness, just simply being, opening myself to be available to receive what is already there that will offer me clarity, that will help me to discern when I'm challenged and struggling with what to do with all the things going on out there, or perhaps all the things going on within me. You're always at choice. So I wanted to give you an acronym this morning. Here's the thing, okay? The T. Live your truth. Not anybody else's, your truth, okay? authentically. A lot of times you'll see out there people are trying to copy and be what it is they're seeing out there and losing themselves in the process. There is only one you that was created like you, no other, and the Creator delights in that individual expression of you because it gets to know itself by your individual expression. Totally unique, unlike any other. So when you do that, what you're offering back is like, okay, well, today feels really crappy. I'm having a really hard time today. Oh, this is my frustration and this is my anger. And you know what? Spiritual being, human experience. But it's like, oh, so that's what anger feels like. That's what anger looks like because what? Sometimes we want to do what? We want to bypass. And we want to go, no, I'm too spiritual. I am so spiritual. You have no idea how spiritual I am. Anger, get behind me, anger. Get behind me, judgment. I'm so spiritual. I'm so spiritual. Not me. I never feel any of those things. Are you kidding? And if you ever see me do it, don't tell anybody. It'll ruin my spiritual reputation. Not a good thing. This is about you knowing what your thing is and being what? Real, authentic, as only you can. And learning to embrace. You've heard me do, not a million, quite a few talks about embracing all of you, loving all of you. And sometimes, yes, it's not easy. It's an easy thing to do in our humanness. But that's when we have the integration with our higher self, to our human self, and our human experience as we navigate life school, earth school, which when you signed up for it, you were like going from kindergarten to graduate school. Like, whoa, unless you were some kind of spiritual prodigy, good luck, right? It's like, oh, I'm here, and wow, okay, this is really hard because we try to live it through our human self. Anybody else ever try to do that? Yeah. Whew. Mercy. Not fun. To me, as I've learned to embrace those aspects of myself, that the shadow, whatever you want to call it, words we give to it, it's like the dark and the light. It's a contrast. That's what life is. We have the moon, we have the sun, we have the light, we have the dark. All of it is part of life, the stream, the flow. And when we can embrace those aspects of ourselves and take that energy, as I've offered you before, to alchemize that energy and use it and infuse it into something with a clear intention, with a high intention, oh my word, what you will be creating, it'll be ineffable. Ineffable. Just like I'm sure you might look at nature sometimes, or I know, see things on YouTube, Facebook, whatever kind of thing, and you go, wow. It could be some kind of an animal or flower or plant or formation of nature. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible. I invite you to get a picture of yourself and look at it and go, wow, that's incredible. God created me, the divine out of the same freaking energy. Wow. I'm not kidding. Get a picture. Put it on your bathroom mirror. Turn on the light and go, whoa, wait a minute. Right? And then you go, okay, let me take a breath. Let me take a few breaths, okay? Here, let me wipe the mirror. Okay. I say it with humor, but I kid you not. These are powerful practices. Powerful practices so that you can have an intimate relationship with you. So that every moment of your life is infused with that divine energy of light and love, joy, compassion, humor, kindness, all of it. That frequency, that vibration up here. Okay, let me get back. I digressed for quite a while, but it was not really a digress. It was cool stuff, right? Anyway, okay, here we go. Here's the thing. T, live your truth authentically. And the question to pose to yourself is, do I know what my truth is? Okay? This is a good inventory to do every day, actually, or weekly, if not. Or if something knocks you for a loop out there, go, whoop, let me get my thing, right? Let me do my thing. Let me check it out. Okay. The T, heart-centered. Are you living a heart-centered life? Okay? Are you living from a place of love? A heart-centered life. Are your choices, your decisions, your words, your actions, everything, are they informed by the wisdom of the heart? By the kindness of the heart? Not just your head will get you in trouble. You need to have both. I've talked about that before, okay? This congruence thing, okay? But heart. Are you living from your heart? The I, I've already mentioned it. Integration. Integrating your higher self with your human self. It's a beautiful marriage. It'll never be divorced if you do it in a way that's done with love. It'll be there. It'll be solid. It'll have a foundation based in this amazing power and presence that unity recognizes as a first principle. Power and presence and around and through all things. And in me is the second one. Yeah. And I'm going to create what? With the third, what I hold here and I put out there, thoughts held in mind, divine mind produce after their kind. Yes? So am I living a heart-centered life? Am I integrating these aspects of me? And the question would be, is your higher self or ego driving your life? What is at the helm of your life? Notice. Pay attention. Tell fear, out of here. You're not even riding shotgun. I'm in the driver's seat. You're not welcome. You can kind of tag along somewhere because I'm not going to totally dismiss you because you do serve a purpose, and I acknowledge that. That's just my personal belief. The N. Anybody can guess what the N is, and if you don't, I'm leaving, okay? If you can't guess what the N is, as well as some of you know me, I know. Okay, what's the N? It's 3 letters. The last one is W. Now! Yes! You're chuckling. You've got to be here now. This is your point of power. This now moment, and then this now moment, and then this now moment, and the next and the next. That's where you create out of, okay? If you're hung up still in the past, okay, just know you're hung up in the past, but you're going to bring that energy of the past into this moment. And if you're fearful, worried about the future, just know that that's where you've got energy going there, you've got energy going there. What's left over for this now present moment? Only you know that. I mean, E.T., one of my favorite guy, Eckhart Tolle, years ago, the power of now, of course. And you've heard me say it time and again. The present is a gift. This moment now is a gift. And it's easy in our human experience to find ourselves there, and everywhere. So I always invite you, look in your toolbox. What practices are you using to bring you right here? And as soon as you venture off and you're aware, don't beat yourself up that you ventured off. Go, oh, I'm aware that I ventured off. Bring yourself right back here. We cannot access solutions, okay, in that energy of constriction, in a frequency that's constricted, okay? Okay. And, and I said, the question would be, where are you focusing your energy? Okay, that was the other question. And then G, come on, give me a G. Gratitude. Yes, you win. Yes. Yay, good job, Helen. Gratitude. I mean, that goes without saying, although it's not always the easy thing to do. It's like, how can I offer gratitude for something that doesn't feel so good to me? I know quite a while back I did a talk on radical gratitude, which is the thing about, can you offer a blessing? Can you feel grateful about everything in your life? That's a big challenge. And what you can often do, and this is kind of how you can work with your mind and neuroplasticity, is you can say, I wonder what it would feel like to be grateful for everything. I wonder what it would feel like to be grateful for everything. Because in your human self, in your human experience, through your human eyes, you're going, can't happen. Ain't ever going to happen. So we know in those moments, we're offered the opportunity to look through those other lenses of love. There they are, and they're purple today. Yeah, spiritual purple. So we're offered to look through these lenses, okay? So we can truly see clearly. I can see clearly now. Yes, that one. So we can see clearly, and we can discern. We can discern that the divine is in everything, in every moment, no exception. And I always will say to you, I do my best to remember, you can believe that or not. I'm not here this morning to tell you that here's the gospel of Jeanie or all the other things I've integrated, and this is what you have to walk away with today, and it's got to be your thing. Because if it ain't your thing, it ain't your thing. It's okay. But I am nudging you, encouraging you, and challenging you to get clear as to what your thing is. What is it? As far as gratitude goes, we know there's so much research about gratitude. They've done tons of studies on it. And it measures up there close to love when they measure frequency of love. David Hawkins with his calibration scale of frequencies and energies of different states of consciousness, it's right up there. So today I invite you, do your thing as only you can as an individual expression of the divine, so that your individual expression will just beautifully overflow into the collective expression with a crystal clear intention, not just for your best and highest, but the best and highest of all. Of all. And if you kind of for yourself go, I don't know that I can offer that to some people or some situations out there, I invite you to do a little inner excavating and go in there and clean it out. Or at least say, I would like to. I don't know how to, but I'm open to learning because I do have tools, and I want to commit to this so that my mission, okay, my purpose, all that I'm here to do truly is for, not just for me, but for the best and highest of all. But it begins, as we know, right here within. Don sings about it all the time. You sing about it all the time. We hear about it all the time. Whatever you want out there, you have to go in here and do it here first. This kingdom within, this home within. It doesn't mean you got to be totally like, well, I'm not just healed yet. I'm not just totally ready. No. You take that energy that's there and you go, I can use this for something. And that's what you go with. Okay? Even Emerson, when I was researching this and I came across this quote, back then in the 1800s, but do your thing, and I shall know you. That was one of Emerson's essays, was written in there. I was like, Ralph Waldo Emerson, but do your thing and I shall know you. I don't know the scripture, but there's a scripture, the same thing. I will know you by your works. Yeah? Danny would know that, but I don't. I just quote Emerson. I shall know you because you will. What do we hear? Do you, right? Here's the thing. Do you, all right? As only you can. So, wrap up. Here's the thing. Live your truth from a heart-centered life, integrated fully in the moment of now with gratitude flowing in, around, and through you. That's the thing. So take it, embrace it, and do your thing as only you can. Thanks.